which is asks us to select all the triangles that have an area of 30 square units. So first thing we need to remember with this one is area of a triangle. How do we find that? So I'm going to write that down here below the answers. So area of a triangle is, if we remember from the video, it was 1/2 base times height. Okay, so half of the rectangle, length times width, that you would create with those sides of the triangle. So if you doubled your triangle, you'd have a rectangle. Okay, so let's look at A. Again, we're going to be looking, just like with the parallelogram, we're going to be looking for that perpendicular sign because we need a height to be perpendicular to the base. Okay, that's the only way we can do this, if we have a height that's perpendicular to the base. So here we've got two sides that are perpendicular to each other, and they're both sides of the triangle. So we can use these. I'm going to call 10 my height, and that's just because normally when I'm looking at something, I will call it the height if it's up and down vertically, and the base, I'll call the base if it's left and right horizontally, but it doesn't really matter because either way it works. So then the 6, I'll call that the base for this one. Whoops, base. And then I'll use a formula. So 1/2 base times height gives us 1/2 6, which is the base, times 10, which is the height. I'm going to go ahead and multiply the 6 and the 10 together first. You could do the 1/2 and the 6 first. It doesn't matter. Either way it will work as long as you don't multiply it by the 1/2 more than once. So this is 1/2 of 60. 1/2 times 60 means 1/2 of 60. Times usually means of. So it's 30 units squared. Okay, so that one works. So I'm going to circle A. That definitely works. All right, let's look at B. So again, here is our little perpendicular sign. So I'm going to look for anything that's attached to it. So this side and this side are both attached to that perpendicular. So I'm going to call my 10 the base, and 8.66 is my height. So if I use my formula, area equals 1/2 times base, which is 10, times 8.66, which is the height. I'm going to multiply 10 by 8.66 first. And that's just, if you remember from multiplying by 10, it's pretty easy to multiply by 10. You just move the decimal over one place to the right. So I get 86.6 instead of 8.66. And then I know half of that is not going to be 30, so I'm pretty much done at this point. But just in case you want to keep going, that would be 43.3 because we're dividing by 2. So that one does not work. Nope. All right, C. C is arguably the hardest one here. This is the hardest one to figure out. But what I'm looking at is I see this perpendicular sign, and then I've got these two sides attached to it. And that's weird, okay? Because this side at the top is not part of the triangle. So let's say that this 10 is our base, even though I just said that I usually say that's the height, but let's just say this is our base. And I'm going to go in here, I'm going to get a different color, and say I wanted to draw a height from this point right here, the very top. I want to draw a height to this green base over here on the left. I would just drop a line straight down like that, and I'd mark it perpendicular. And then I could ask myself, okay, well, what is that height? But if I look, what I've drawn here is a rectangle, right? It's not a perfect rectangle, but it's a rectangle. I drew it kind of slanted. So if it's a rectangle, the opposite sides have to be the same. So this has to be 6 as well, because that top point meets the 6 over there. So that's actually our height. Kind of crazy. This one's a hard one. So then I can say, go back to green. I can say area equals 1/2 my base, which was 10, times my height, which is 6. And I get 1/2 of 60, which is 30 units squared. So this one works as well. So I'll circle C. Okay, let's go on to D. There's my perpendicular sign. Got a right angle. I've got these two sides, so I know I'm going to call this my height, and this down here will be my base, because that's part of the triangle. So I have area equals 1/2 times 6, my base, times 8, my height, equals 1/2. I remember my number facts. 6 times 8 is 48. And then I know half of 48 isn't 30, but I'll keep going. I get 24 units squared. And that does not work. Nope, that's not 30. All right, last but not least, here we go. There's our little right angle. Here's our one side. Here's our other side that are attached to that right angle. So I'll call this my height. And I'll call this my base. So I've got area equals 1/2 times the base, which is 3, times the height, which is 10. So again, I'm going to do 3 times 10 first. 3 times 10 is 30. And I know 1/2 times 30, or 1/2 of 30, is 15. So that does not work either. Okay, so the only answers there are A and C. Hope that made sense for you.